Hi, I'm Striker Corbin, success coach and professional speaker, and I am truly honored to be able to. I really, and then I got even more excited when I saw the theme for this event, Racing into the Future with Kindness and Diversity. And I said, they nailed it. This is exactly what we need to be talking about and discussing and learning in 2020 with everything we've been through. Here I was thinking that, as I was speaking to a lot of organizations, I always talked about 2020 as the future. And I made the analogy of 2020, which was going to be the year in which we all gained clear sight, 2020 vision. I had no idea that it would turn out the way it's turned out. But I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in negatives. So I think there are intended positives to come from what we've all experienced in 2020. And while we can't be together live, I'm give a lot of credit to the leadership team for this event and being resilient, being able to put something together for you. So that I really do appreciate being a part of that. Something else happens when you recognize that you are as important as everything and everyone, and everyone and everything is as important as you. And when you realize we are all connected, you start to recognize the fact that there's a purpose for everything that happens in your life. And I really hope that you'll understand that I'm going to talk about ways in which we can expand our kindness and our appreciation for diversity. But there isn't one road we should all be on to learn or to grow. If there was one path for success, one path for making a lot of money, one path for happiness, we'd all be on it. But what I want you to start to understand is that I'm going to try to present to you some insights and some things that I teach that for me, and again, no one ever has to believe a thing I believe. For me, what I want to talk about today really is plugged into universal wisdom, universal knowledge, and it's based upon, frankly, the idea of love. And so kindness and diversity. Where do we begin? The first thing I've discovered, if you truly want to be kind, if you really want to appreciate diversity, it's self-love. Know thyself. There's so much value in examining your life. Now, in my practice, I use hypnosis in my success coaching practice, helping people to make relatively quick changes in their lives. And, on the intake form, I ask people if they've ever used hypnosis before, and most people check off, they write no. It's then my job to kind of point out at some point during our meeting or session that we've all been hypnotized. We have all been hypnotized to one extent or another. Since day one on this planet, you have been hearing things over and over and over again that create your bedrock beliefs. And many of the things that you go through your life believing, you have no idea why. We simply believe stuff because we heard it from our parents, our clergy, we heard it from the media, we heard it from peers. And many people go through life with these bedrock principles, these beliefs, that they have no idea what they believe or why they believe it. And I recognized that I wanted to discover, what do I believe and why do I believe it? Why are we here? Why are we here in this physical body, in this life? Why? And to my surprise, I just went after my answer. I started to read. I watch videos, things of that nature. And I got to tell you, there are some incredible, credible sources for me that just prove to me, and again, I want to say this throughout my presentation, no one ever has to believe what I believe. Think for yourself. I'm trying to foster independent thinkers. I'm just going to give you my experiences, what I've learned on my way to discovering truth. But you have to think for yourself, be an independent thinker. And one of the things I have discovered is that there is clearly more to life than meets the eye. Clearly more to life than meets the eye. It fascinates me that no two people on this planet have the same fingerprints. No one. Several billion people on the planet, and no one has your fingerprints. No one else can open up your iPhone with the facial recognition software. You are unique. And what I started to understand is that we have an energy, we have an essence, you have a soul. Some call it spirit. I think your spirit, your soul, the essence of who you are is even much, much more complex than fingerprints. And when you start to recognize your uniqueness and everything that went into the combination of you becoming who you are, when you start to recognize your uniqueness, you don't really necessarily need to be like everyone else anymore. Start to go after your answers of what do I believe and why do I believe it? Question everything you believe and get to the point of, does it resonate with truth? Does it resonate with love? Does this feel loving? Does it feel correct? And a lot of times we have been, our entire lives, we've been laden from, we come into this life as just, I don't want to say empty vessels, but we come in needing to know how to navigate this life. And from the ages of 0 to 7, we really are just downloading all this information on how to get through this journey, or we learn things and we hear things over and over again from all of the authoritative sources around us. And I have to tell you, much of what we hear and much of what we learn and take in is either fear-based or incorrect. Fear-based or incorrect. And this is the big problem we have today in this society, is that fear is running rampant, but I'm gonna hold off on that till later. Be an independent thinker. Start to question what you do, why you do it, what you believe, how you act. There's a great story. A mother around the holidays was cooking with her daughter, and they're about to put a ham into the oven. And the mom cuts the end off one of the ends off the ham, and then cuts the other end off and sticks it in a pan and puts it in the oven to cook. And the little girl working with her mom says, "Mom, why do we cut the ends off the ham? Why do we do that?" And she says, I don't know. So she calls her mother and says, "Mom, why do we cut the ends off the ham before we put it into the oven to cook?" And she said, I'm not really sure. And she said, let me go a little step further. She went back and asked her mother. Said, "Ma, why do we always cut the ends off the ham so that before we cook it?" And she says, "Well, that's how it would fit in my pan." We do things because we just copy and learn what we were told as youth, and we just do it mindlessly sometimes. So I'm going to ask you the first step in becoming more enlightened, and with that umbrella of enlightenment, I mean kinder and having an appreciation for diversity. And folks, I realize I'm preaching to the choir, okay? I love speaking to Lions groups because you are enlightened people. You're out there doing the work. You're kind to begin with. You appreciate diversity. But there are higher levels we can all continue to aspire to and to reach. So I just want you to start to kind of think more about yourself and take what I say to heart. I know I'm preaching to the choir, and I love that. I just want you to be independent thinkers, healthy skeptics. When I went to first learn about hypnosis, I don't know if I believed it or not, but I'm a healthy skeptic. If any of you stepped up and you told me that you cured your own personal illness by twisting your thumb 3 times a day, I wouldn't say, get the heck out of here. I would want to know more. I'd want more information. And that's all it is for me. I'll make my own decisions on what I believe and what I don't. And you have a truthometer. You can always tell truth. You really can. If you ask me for advice about someone you're having difficulty with at work or your organization, and I said to you, "Oh, you want to know how to deal with that person?" You go right up to them and you punch them in the face. Well, you might look at me or smirk or laugh and okay, but you would know that that's not good advice. He told me to go up and punch someone in the face. You know it's not good advice. If I said to you, everyone just wants to know that they matter. Everyone just wants to know that they matter. And I want you to, the next time you see that person that really irks you or bothers you or just is irritating, I want you to find something to appreciate about that person. Anything to appreciate about that person. Could be their choice of shoes. It could be that they're a responsible parent. It could be that they are a good coach to their kid. It could be that they're always on time or they run a good meeting. Whatever it is, if you show appreciation to that person and you let them know it, not in a fake or manipulative way, but really find something you appreciate about that person earnestly, honestly, and share it with them. When you make people feel like they matter, and again, not from a place of manipulation or to win friends, influence people, from a place of earnestness, people, now that guy or that girl, she might not change the first time she meets you, the second time or third time, but if you continue to just See that person as a soul. See that person as a human being who's doing the best they can sometimes with some of the stuff they've had to deal with in their life. And you make them feel like they matter. They will begin to treat you very differently than they treat other people. And you begin to see that your ability to raise your level of awareness grows. But the point of me telling you that story wasn't so that I could give you an idea of how to deal with irritating people. Notice the difference the way you feel between when I give you the two pieces of advice. First, when I said punch them in the face. Second, when I said treat people as if they matter. And then your interactions will change. You have a truthometer. You can tell when I tell you the second piece of advice, you're like, yeah, that's good. It doesn't mean you know it's going to work. It doesn't mean you buy it, but we say that resonates with truth. You can use that standard for just about everything in your life. Start to recognize in your life what resonates with truth and love, and what is the opposite. What takes you down the path of hate, fear, and all sorts of annoyances that come into your life when you're not aligned with love and happiness, kindness, right? So question. As you go through your life, think of it this way. You're the writer, the director, and the actor of your life. The writer, the director, and the actor of your life. I would like you to imagine, and I ask my clients to do this all the time, because most people are going through life on autopilot. Most people go through life on autopilot. They're pissed off because it's Monday or Tuesday, somewhat happy because it's Thursday or Friday, but they're on autopilot. I want you to recognize, if we were going to cast your life as a movie, what actor or actress, who would play you in the movie? Who would play you? Now, that's not really the important question. The important question is, what's the character? What character would they be playing? What are the 5 words? If I came to you and I said, I'm playing you in the movie, upcoming movie of your life, I need to know about this character. What 5 words would you give me to describe yourself? Would it be adventurous, daring, caring, witty, wealthy, sexy, funny, shy, reticent? I don't care what words you pick. But are you choosing the words to define yourself? And I don't want you to define yourself by your job or what you do. I want you to choose the words that make you feel like your life pops. Adventurous, daring, witty. I'll go for confident, charismatic, wealthy, funny, whatever you like. This is your journey. And I want you to examine who you are, because the thing that unlocks everything else I'm going to tell you from this point on is the principle that everything else is built upon: self-love. Self-love. Most people don't understand that concept. They think it's I'm kissing my muscles, or I'm arrogant, or I'm conceited. Self-love is not arrogance or conceit. If you meet someone who comes across as arrogant, conceited, sometimes you got those big A-type personalities that have to own the room. If arrogance and conceit is the complete opposite of self-love. Self-love is an awareness of who you are, that you know when it's your time to shine or when it's someone else's time to shine, and you're happy with both. You're happy for other people as well. Self-confidence recognizes, self-love recognizes that there's no such thing as perfection. That you're here to make mistakes. You're here to fail and to learn and to grow. Self-love recognizes that you're doing the best you can. But look, we've all had our hearts broken. We've all looked like idiots. We've all done things like, what the heck was I thinking? Self-love is the ability to let go of the past and to recognize the past is the past. Unless you want to argue quantum physics, and I'm not smart enough to do so. Too many people ruin today based on the past. I never should have broken up with. If only I hadn't. I wish I could have. What was I thinking? Or the pain that someone else inflicted on us from the past. The pain that someone else, when we were a small child, not completely responsible for ourselves or our lives, or heck, at any point, someone hurt us or did something to us, and now we've based today on the past. Others ruin the present moment by focusing on the future. I'll be happy when? I'll be happy when I lose weight, when someone loves me, when I have a beautiful car, when I retire, when. And you don't realize that the future is unwritten. It's yours to create, but you are creating that future here, right now. The moment of power is the present moment. When I'm with you, I'm trying to be the best damn me I can be. I really am trying to be as earnest and honest with you as I can. I hope you like me. If you don't, I really can't control that. I try to be a nice guy, but the moment of power is the present moment. In this moment, the past is done. Integrate the lessons of the past. Learn and integrate the lessons. Get better. The future you are writing right here, right now, with how you're thinking, feeling, and acting in this moment. This is the moment of power. And too many people sabotage this moment by putting off, I'll be happy when. No, you're not going to unpack that future by being angstful or negative or self-loathing or just not happy here. And so this is what I'm asking you to do, is to lead and examine life, know what you believe and why you believe it, and then come up with who you are. What's your quest? What's your quest? What is your purpose? And if you don't know it, it's the thing that makes you feel alive. It's the thing that fills you with passion. What pulls your interest? Where are your interests? For some people, I love when people have these interests. Some people get so into like model trains. Some people, it's being part of organizations like yours. Some people, it's being involved in their children's lives. Some people, it's being healthy and fit, running triathlons. What is the thing that makes you feel passionate and alive? And when you don't know what else to do, when you feel stuck or down, do that. That will always flip the switch. Go do what makes your soul feel like it's come alive. So what does that have to do with kindness and diversity so far? My whole premise is that if we were kind to ourselves, if we loved ourselves, if we were happy in our own being, if we knew we had a purpose and it all made sense on some grand scheme, you're happier. You're in more control. You don't feel like a victim. You don't feel like you need to put other people down. You don't feel like you're being held back by others. You recognize you are in complete control over your destiny. And the reason we're not kind to others, and the reason some people seem to be these days so anti-diversity, it's mind-boggling, but the reason is fear, worry. People begin to think, we all think at some point, I guess, that happiness, success, everything we want in our lives is cut up into a big pizza pie. And that there's only a certain number of slices. That if Bill Gates and someone else has all the money, there's less for us. If you understand economics, that's basically a fourth grade understanding of economics. Wealth creates wealth, abundance creates abundance. We also think that happiness and success are cut up into pizza pie slices, where if someone you work with or someone you know gets a large slice of happiness and success, then must be less for me. Do you truly celebrate other people's successes? Are you happy when someone in your office makes the big sale or brings in the big bucks? Or do you kind of like, she always, money goes to money, she gets it all the time? Or do you say, wow, someone in this industry, someone in this office is making money doing what I'm doing. Why not me? Wealth creates wealth. That's the abundance mentality. And so when you recognize that self-love, self-confidence, self-awareness brings about a love of yourself, where you recognize other people don't have the right to judge you. You're doing the best you can. I don't need to judge you. I don't know you from a hole in the wall. What am I judging you based on? Your choice of wardrobe, your hairstyle? I can't have any right to judge you. And when you recognize that, you can turn that around and say, well, people don't have the right to judge me. And why do I care so much about what perfect strangers think about me? Most people aren't thinking what you think they're thinking, or they're not thinking all that much. And where I want you to understand is that when you feel that you create your reality, that your wealth, your health, your wealth, and your relationships isn't based on anyone except you, you're kinder. You're more accepting of other people's journeys. You recognize the beauty and diversity. You recognize that we're all in this together, folks. One of the major lessons, I believe, a terrible, horrible, and complete incorrect lesson we've all learned from childhood is that it's a dog-eat-dog world. You've heard that. It's a dog-eat-dog world. I know certain fathers or parents that literally try to toughen their kids up because, it's tough out there. You got to be tough, And that's crap, okay? It's not dog-eat-dog. It isn't. We are all in this together, collectively, on this earth, in our families, in our towns. We're together. And the more people get that, the sooner we learn it, the better off we're going to be as individuals, a family, a town, a country, a globe. We're all in this together. And that's part of really understanding who you are. Lead by example. Folks, you want other people to be kind. You want them to appreciate diversity. Lead from example. Don't dictate. don't tell people what they need to do. And I apologize. I recognize the hypocrisy of that. But you asked me. I was asked to present to you, and I'm only making suggestions. All right. I'm not telling you have to, got to, need to. Making suggestions. Lead by example. I walk my talk. I really do. I try to walk my talk. Okay. Am I perfect 100% of the time? No. I'm human. I get that. But I want you to start to understand that you have to lead by example. I'll give you a great story, real learning point in my life. So I'm in New York. I live in New York. And New Yorkers have this way, and it's probably the same throughout the world. I just think New Yorkers take great pride in being this way. Whereas if you and I are walking into, I'm walking into a store. Let's say I'm walking into a convenience store, and and you're walking at the same time. Well, the social contract says what? I hold the door open for you. You walk through the door. You say thank you. I say you're welcome, and I walk into the store thinking I'm the greatest person that ever existed because I held the door open for that stranger who probably couldn't have opened it themselves had I not been there. And you walk through the store like you're the mayor, talking to people. Yes, isn't it a nice day? Yes, everything's great. Now, okay, what happens in those times in which someone's coming out the door, you're going in, you open the door for them, and they walk right out, and they ignore you and go right to their car where they're going. They don't say a word. No, thank you, nothing. They have violated the social contract. Who raised those people? How do they act like that? People these days, kids these days. And now you walk into 7-Eleven, or sometimes New Yorkers love to say, you're welcome, to remind that person that they have been, they're not acting the way you want them to act, that they were raised by animals. So you got to point out to them that they're jerks. So you walk into the store then and you're like, people are idiots. I can't believe people are so obnoxious. Nobody's taking good. No one cares about the way we act these days. Parents don't discipline their kids. Whatever the ruminations going on in your mind are. The sad point is, folks, is that they're gone. They're gone. But your day is now ruined based on what? Let me back you up. Why did you hold the door open? What was the purpose when someone's coming out of a store? Why did you hold the door open? You did it for the thanks? No. Did you do it for the acknowledgement that, oh my God, you're my lifesaver, you held the door open? You did it because it was the right thing to do. Yeah, it's the right thing to do. Regardless of whether you get thanked or not, or acknowledged or not, you do the right thing. You choose the difficult right over the easy wrong time and time again. Your life will always pop. You did it because it was the right thing to do. Is it nice they thank you? Yes. Do they have to thank you? No. Here's what I learned, a very valuable lesson. This happened to me, and it was one of those moments I will never forget. I happened to be going into my local 7-Eleven convenience store. And as I was going into the store, about to open the door, someone I knew, a gentleman, friend of my parents, who had known me since I was a young child. I'm going into the store, I hold the door, I pull the door open for him, and he, this person that knows me quite well, walks right past me like I don't exist, gets in his car, and drives away. Now, if I didn't know him, maybe I would go to the old patterns of, jerk. But I knew him. I knew him well. And I knew that at that moment, he was leaving 7-Eleven, getting in his car. He was on the way to go visit his son, who was in the hospital dying of brain cancer. Son my age, dying, days left to live. You think he was there worried about some guy holding the door open for him at 7-Eleven? We don't know people. We don't know what they're going through. We don't know what is on their mind. We make assumptions all the time. I'm asking you to be kind because it's the right thing to do, not for any reason that you get payback for it, that you get, some type of accolades for it. Do it because it's the right thing to do. I used to, when my kids played soccer, we would, at the end of the game, you'd be leaving the field, and there would be water bottles all over the place. I don't think they left intentionally, just parents lose track of their kids, all the ones, and we left water bottles on the side of the soccer field. It's going to happen. And a bunch of us used to then just go around and pick up the bottles. And we picked up the bottles because we felt it was the right thing to do. But while we were picking up the bottles, there was always other people bitching and moaning about people are such pigs, what's wrong with people? If you're going to do that, don't pick up the bottles. The energy is completely wrong. Let your energy feel like I'm doing the right thing. I like keeping my area clean. I like cleaning up after ourselves. I like this. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel proud. Not as an opportunity to show I'm so much better. I'm cleaning up while these people simply took off and left all that garbage. Raise your standards. Raise your level of awareness. What I want to show you is really, I want to show you, I'm going to try to share my screen with you now, that there are ways in which we think, feel, and act that, to me, represent enlightenment, and others that it's living unaware. So let me share my screen with you all, and I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I have unaware versus enlightened at the top. I'm hoping this works. And again, we have those that choose to live life unaware, and those that want to become enlightened and understand that's the purpose of our journey. Move out of your earth amnesia, your haze and confusion, and become enlightened. The first step to enlightenment is know thyself. On the unaware side, you begin to see the ideas of separateness, nationalism, and me. Me. The focus is on me, me. Separate. You see resentment and blame. The unaware carry the emotion of jealousy. Intolerance. Indifference. And they can be materialistic very often. Complaining. And at the bottom, the worst of all, they're filled with hate and fear. And let me just point out for a second, the idea of hate and fear, they're both negative energies. They're basically creating the same overall feeling in your body. They cause the same health issues. They cause the same reactions. The only difference is that we recognize the negativity of hate. We try to stop hate. We don't want to promote hate. But our society is going over the top promoting fear these days. That's allowed. That's the sad thing. That's one of the things I want you to be aware of, folks, is it's not, you can't hate. You can't promote hate. But boy, do we share and love to promote fear. So be careful. Unaware, okay? The enlightened side of that, the enlightened side of separateness, nationalism, and me is unity, globalism, we. Go from me to we. You start doing that, you will start to see a major difference in your life right there. Unity, globalism, we. Resentment and blame becomes forgiveness and understanding. Everyone is doing the best they can with their given level of awareness. That includes you. If you got something or someone that you need to forgive and move past, what's that old line? If you hold on to anger, if you get hate or angry at someone else, it's like drinking poison, all right? The effects are on you. Jealousy is cooperation, intolerance, of course, tolerance. And there's the thing, that's kindness. That's just an SAT word for kindness, is to show tolerance for other people's ways of life, other people's cultures, other people's nuances. That's an appreciation for the diversity. The indifference, here, empathy, compassion. Can we all today at this event where we want to race into our future with kindness and diversity, can we all agree that we need to have more empathy and compassion for one another? Can you leave this event and really be mindful, maybe of some of the things I'm telling you, and make a list of it? And I hope you have access to this video and you can watch it as often as you want. Materialistic, we want to live simplicity. I'm not against materialistic things, but just appreciate what you have. Complaining becomes grateful. And last but not least, you know the answer to this one. The opposite of hate and fear, it's the answer to any question you could ever ask yourself. Love. Love. And I say, if everyone on earth loved him or herself fully, there'd be no more crime, war, poverty, disease, or disharmony. Think about that. If everyone really loved themselves truly, unconditionally, there'd be no war, no crime, poverty, disease. Think about that. Maybe write that down and carry that down with you, and carry that with you if you can. The last thing I want you to know about love is if you are unsure on any issue, if you're unsure about any issue in your life, the answer is always to choose the most loving answer. Choose love. What do I mean by that? In a previous life, I was a history teacher, and so I have a pretty good knowledge of US and world history. If you choose any event in history, any event, you want to go back to slavery in the 1860s, you want to choose women's rights in the women's right to vote in the 1920s. If you go back to the 1860s, there were people on both sides of the slavery issue. And matter of fact, when the issue first came to light years before, only a small vocal minority, the abolitionists, were the ones who really were touting the evils of slavery. They were in the minority. And it didn't matter. If you did not know where you stood in the 1860s on the issue of slavery, and there were a lot of people that made ludicrous arguments about it being a positive good, and many people bought it or found references in their faith why it was okay. But if you chose the side of love, if you choose the side of love and the side of recognizing the value of all human beings and freedom and a cooperative nature and recognizing diversity, history would show you're on the right side of that issue. If in the 1920s you were against giving the women the right to vote, women suffragists, if you were against that, and there were a lot of people that were, women included, because that's the way we always did it, we always cut the ends off the ham, we might as well continue to keep women from voting, expressing rights, right? There were a lot of people that the country was split. Eventually the minority became the majority. But even on that issue, if you chose the side of love and growth, freedom, rights for others, history shows you're on the right side of that issue. You could take today's current events, and I don't care what it is. You decide for yourself, immigration, okay, policies, economic, anything. And I don't want to make this a political discussion, but if you choose the path of love, history will have you on the right side. You will be on the right side of history every time you choose the path of love. See how that works for you? You can't make up your mind on where you stand on any political, social, economic issue. Choose the side of love, not hate and fear. I tell people, everyone that comes to work with me, and here's my first charge to you, my first thing I'd like to ask you to do. I tell everyone that comes see me after they leave my office, I want them to go the next 48 hours, next 2 days, without a negative or fear-based thought. Go the next 2 days without a negative or fear-based thought. Go home after the high, or go home, or go wherever you're going next after the high of this conference. And for the next 2 days, no negativity, no fear. Put worry and fear on a shelf for 2 days, 48 hours. Most people can't go 10 minutes. You can't go 10 minutes without a negative or fear-based thought, or self-deprecating thought, or angry that someone's driving too slow in front of them on the expressway, or someone took something from you that they shouldn't have taken. I want you to recognize, look, if you have a physical habit, let's say you smoke, you're aware that you do that every day, you have this physical habit, you're aware of your cigarettes, how many you have. Your thoughts and the emotions you attach to your thoughts are just as habitual. They're just as habitual. And if you want to change a habit, you want to change anything, you have to really physically do it. If you watch water channel and flow down the side of a rocky mountain, if you watch the water come down, it will follow the known route. It'll follow the channel it's always cut. If you want to stop the flow of that water and have it go in a different direction, you literally have to stop the flow, interrupt the flow, and then redivert it down a new channel. Thoughts are the exact same way. Our thoughts are automatic. They're on autopilot. You've been thinking, feeling, and acting a certain way for X numbers of years. You must first stop up the negative thinking, stop up the anger, hate-filled, stop up the destructive thinking, whether it's towards yourself or towards others, stop. And then you must cut a new direction with your thoughts. I am. I can. I got this. I am. Fill in the blanks. I am amazing. I am unique. I'm funny. I'm loving this life. I'm loving that I don't know what's around the corner, but I'm excited to see what comes next in my life. I am. I can. I can do whatever I put my mind to. I can make a difference. I can change. I can lose weight. I can stop smoking. I can teach through example how to be kinder, how to be more loving. And I got this. I am, I can, I got this. And it starts with that simple principle, that simple suggestion of taking fear and worry and putting on a shelf for 2 days. Go 48 hours. Be happy for no reason. But you have a multitude of reasons to be happy. First challenge I'm going to give to you, and I'll have others, is to go the next 48 hours without a negative or fear-based thought. I'd love to hear how you do on that. You can always contact me at striker@strikercorbin.com or strikercorbin@gmail. They're both going to get to me, whatever you remember. And I would love to know how you do with putting fear and worry on a shelf for 48 hours. Or if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. But I challenge you, try that. It was one of the best gifts I ever gave myself. It really was. I learned how to live without fear, and I've never looked back. And I got to tell you, that was the moment that made all the difference in my life, living without fear. It doesn't mean I don't have fears, folks. It doesn't mean I'm going out to play softball in the middle of the Long Island Expressway. It doesn't mean I don't have concerns. I just don't give them fuel. I don't feed fear. I move forward in the face of those fears. That's the best gift you'll ever give yourself. Your thoughts and your emotions create your reality. I've said this before. What I've learned through hypnosis is that what you believe becomes your reality. If you think life sucks and then you die, I can't argue with you. You'll find all the evidence to prove your point. But if you believe that there's greatness, goodness, possibilities, purpose for everything happening, you'll begin to see a difference. If you think it's hard to earn money, okay, it will be. If you think all the good ones are taken, these become self-fulfilling prophecies. It's attributed to Henry Ford. I'm not sure if it is actually anymore. I see various sides of this. The quote is, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. That's self-hypnosis. That's how this works. What you tell yourself, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And that's how you start to make a difference in getting different outcomes in this life. So first I said, I want you to know yourself. Do a self-examination. Question, question, question. What do you believe and why do you believe it? Then I asked you to lead by example. Be kind because it is the right thing to do. Hold yourself to higher standards than other people. And again, I've given you, you want to think, feel, and act like other people, go ahead. But most people are really not living the life they desire. Most people aren't fulfilled. And if you want to think, feel, and act like everyone else, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. Because we often view life successful and failure life based on a horizontal line of what we have. So let me show you the one I put together. All right, so look, like I said, we draw this horizontal line between success and failure. Success, of course, money, prosperity, the homes, the cars, the travel, all the stuff, all the flashy stuff. Now, if you're a failure, you obviously have lack, you're alone, you have no material wealth, you know, all the things we associate with being a failure in our society. But there's a better way to look at this, folks. What I would like you to start to look at is how above and below this line you are. At the top of the line, you have fulfillment, fulfilled. At the bottom is depression. And you'll notice that above the line, above that failure success line, the horizontal line, when you're living in that area, you're living in that realm, you're living in joyful, loving, creative, happy, appreciative, positive, and you're living optimistically. When I say the term below the line, it's pessimism, angry, unhappy, negative, hate, and fear. There's those two things again, right? And you're down towards being depressed. The ideal thing would be if we could live here, if we could be in that upper right quadrant where we're joyful, happy, creative, we're feeling fulfilled, and we have the success markers that are important to us. It could be the house, the car, it could be the ability to travel, whatever you choose it to be. Now here's the worst, down here in the bottom left, and the blue star, or somewhat blue star, down here in which you're depressed and you have real no success markers in your life that we would call materialistic. Even over here to the far left, where I just had the gold star go to, if that's in the what we would consider failure, let's say you got the lack, you don't have material worth, but you're still joyful, loving, creative, and happy, you're still above the line, that's still a more optimal place to be than anywhere below the line. If you could go to here, success, and we all know the Hollywood stories, the sports legends, or people you know and love who seemingly have it all, have the fame, the wealth, the money, and they're depressed beyond belief. Some of them end up taking their own lives. It's so sad. So that's not even a great place to be. You'd think that the success markers would be it, but it's not. And what you want to do is, if you can't get the material wealth, okay, the first step is really taking that blue star and raising it up to above the line. Do the things that make you happy. Be enlightened, be kind, embrace the generosity, embrace the diversity that's all around us. And you will begin to see yourself moving to the success markers as well, the happiness, the things that you want. And again, I'm not just stressing material goods, I'm stressing the things that are happiness to you, okay? And the whole thing is, I'm asking you to live above the line. Live above the line. Just an illustration for some of the points I want you to take away from today. The first challenge I asked you to think about is to go 48 hours without negative thought. Okay, and hopefully you'll let me know how you do on that. The second thing I'd ask you to do, a little tool I want you to take away from this, is imagine people can hear your thoughts. Imagine people can hear your thoughts. Would they like what they hear? Would you be proud of yourself if they heard that? Are you thinking wonderful things about people as they go past you? Are you comparing yourself? Are you judging? Maybe you're not thinking at all. But imagine that people can hear your thoughts. And why do I say this? It's not just a fun little exercise. There's value in it, a lot of value. The value I want you to take away from this, and you can discover others on your own, is that we are all made up of energy. We're all made up of matter. We have an energy about us. If you meet someone who's confident and charismatic, we generally refer to that person as magnetic. And what do we mean by that? They have this magnetic energy, that pull, they pull others into them. So there's an energy that kind of connects us all. Maybe you've met someone where you instantly were attracted to their energy, and sometimes you've met someone and you kind of didn't like the energy they gave off. Doesn't mean they're a bad person. Maybe it just wasn't something that your energies were a good commingling. But you have energy. What determines the energy? The energy is determined by your thoughts and the emotions you attach to those thoughts. So when you're thinking positive and happy, the energy is magnetic. And that energy will attract into your life positive events, positive people. So if you are going through your day and people can hear your thoughts, what would they think? Would they be attracted to you? Would they be pulled into your magnetism, into your appreciation? Or would they be repulsed? Would they feel like getting away from you as soon as possible? Watch how you talk to yourself. Okay? You're your own best friend. You have to talk to yourself like you're your own best friend. It's amazing. The way we talk to ourselves, the way we would not talk to other people. We just wouldn't do it. If you truly want to race into your future, don't worry about the rest of the lines. Don't worry about how they're getting this message. Don't worry about, this is about you. If you want to race into your future with kindness and diversity, take it, the lead. Go do it. Figure out who you are. What do you believe? Why do you believe it? You can't figure that stuff out. I'm going to give you the answer right now. The answer is always the most loving choice, love. You are pure joy. You're pure love. You came into this life a pure bundle of joy. And you got pushed off your soul's mission. You got pushed off your earth's path by earth amnesia. Reconnect to eternal truths. Meditate, hike, walk, do yoga, take a rowboat out. Do what connects you to life. Number one, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in your uniqueness. We are such unique individuals. I started by mentioning our fingerprints, facial recognition, things like that. We're such unique individuals, but for most of our lives, we spend too much time trying to be like other people. We worry too much about being like other people. Believe in yourself. Trust. Test. Test what I tell you today. Your thoughts and your emotions, your thoughts, plus the emotions you attach to those thoughts, lead to your inspired actions. Those three things, thoughts, emotions, your actions, create your reality. 2, there are no coincidences. Not a single thing in life is a coincidence. Not to the fact that we had to do this virtually today. Not to the fact that maybe you stubbed your toe. Nothing is a coincidence. Nothing is coincidental. It is all a purposeful interaction of events to help you raise your vibrational level, help you raise your level of awareness, help you live above the line. There are no coincidences. Start to watch for coincidences in your life. Start to look around you. And you may have those little signs or things that always seem to happen when you need them to happen most. It could be a feather floating down from somewhere. It could be a certain bird that shows up and starts chirping at you. It could be a phone call you get out of the blue from someone you were just thinking about. I want you to watch for the coincidences in your life. 3, this is the hard one for people to make a leap to. There are no negatives. There are no negatives. Only opportunities to grow our level of self-love and or love of others. You can think of any negative in your life or on a global level, any negative. And yes, I know there are tragic days. 9/11 was a tragic day in American history. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I'm not attempting to say that was a great event. However, in all of those tragic events, whether an area gets wiped out by a hurricane, whether someone or family suffers tragedy, whether it's 9/11, do you remember how every one of us, we all treated each other in the days and weeks after 9/11? People were kinder. People were letting people in on the expressway in front of them. People had that attitude, we're all in this together. When an area like Haiti or someplace suffers a terrible, terrible storm and it all gets decimated, we text them money, we send them money, we send them aid, we send them supplies, we send them our love. But we feel good about ourselves. We have an opportunity to recognize the fact that it is about we. It's about the globe. It's about our earth. It's about raising the standards of freedom and love and joy for everyone, just not a select few. And when you recognize that in every negative, you have the opportunity to grow your level of self-love and or love of others. When you see, most people don't learn. When most people cruising along having happy lives, and all of us are going to get knocked on our butts at some point, all of us. That's why you signed up for this ride. You don't put on a pair of skates and skate through life. Everyone's going to get knocked on their butt at some point. Most people don't learn through happiness. Most people don't learn when they're happy and joyful. They just like continue, I hope this lasts. Get knocked on your butt, loss of a loved one, suffer an illness or something, or have something go wrong, lose your job, and you get knocked on your butt. That's when you're willing to listen, to grow, to read a new book, to listen to a speaker, to try a new program, to change your lifestyle. From every negative, there is a possibility, a positive outcome. But you have free will. You can choose hate, fear, no, this sucks, it's horrible, or you can choose, I will learn and integrate the lessons for me in what just transpired. Again, to shortcut your learning, the answer is always on the side of love. Choose the side of love. Self-love first. From there, all else love comes. There's no medal for longevity, folks. There is no medal for longevity. When you leave this planet, there's no big celebration because you made it to 99 or 100. It just isn't. Whatever you believe comes next, heaven, nirvana, the energy realm, and something does come next. That's a day for another discussion. Whatever comes next, and if you just go through your life fear-based, worried, head down, don't do anything, don't meet your soul's quest, there's no celebration because you made it to 100 years old. Now, Al Roker or somebody may bring you a cake in this life, but when you leave this physical form, they'll say, well, you'll say, hey, I made it to 100. Give me some celebration. Like, well, celebrate. What did you do? What did you do? What love did you place into the ripples of the waters of humanity? What did you create? What life did you influence? Could be your own. What child's life did you change? What did you do for society? It could be just, how did you learn to love yourself better? But if you go through life fear-based, hate-filled, judgmental, locked in your own me, dog-eat-dog world, there will be no medal simply because you make it X number of years. But if you live a life and you live a valuable, happy, joyful life where you increase the level of love in the waters of humanity, it doesn't matter if you live to 3 months, 3 years, 33 years, or 93 years. That's how you're evaluated. What type of life did you live? What legacy? What did you leave in the ripples of love for others to follow behind you? It doesn't matter if you influenced the globe like some national leaders can do, or you made a difference in one person's life or your own life. Love is love is love. I'm so happy that I got to be a part of this in any way, and I was looking forward to being in Kentucky with everyone. But I had to be involved, especially when I saw that you want to talk about kindness and diversity, two things that are near and dear to my heart. If I could do anything to help you grow in your ability to spread kindness and diversity, Stryker at StrykerCorbin.com. I do have an app. It's free. Okay, download it for your iPhone or your Android device. Go to your Google Play Store or the App Store. It's Stryker Corbin Motivational Hypnosis app. A lot of it's free. I start off with a motivational message of the day. I post videos that I think are inspirational or informative, and I have free sessions you can use, 8 to 10 minutes in the morning, just to kind of set your intention for the day, to kind of remind yourself of some of the positive principles I've tried to share with you here today. I hope that I've been a positive influence on you. I hope that I've inspired you to examine your life and live a life that's really worthwhile. And it is my pleasure. I love being part of anything the Lions do. I know that we are all in this together. It's been my pleasure. I hope that we can connect again on some level. I would really love to be. I'll give you a virtual hug, folks, a virtual hug. But I hope one day that you and I can come into physical proximity where we can meet eye to eye and know that we're in this together, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you giving me the time, and have at it. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Take care, everyone.